Welcome to Warp Zone 9. This is our debut episode. We're here to talk about the latest Nintendo Direct that just aired as of this recording earlier today. So the biggest news that came out of it was the announcement of the new Nintendo 3DS XL in North America. Of course, the biggest addition is the inclusion of the built-in C-Stick for dual analog control. This will allow it also to be compatible with previous CirclePad Pro compatible games and improved 3D through the use of face tracking. So, you have a 3DS.
I do have a 3DS.
Do you have any inkling to upgrade?
Oh, I think so. As soon as it comes out. With my love of Monster Hunter, I'm probably going to pick up that special edition one.
I know you sound pretty excited about the Monster Hunter one.
So excited. So excited. It's the same game over and over again, but I love it.
So, other features is it'll have the built-in near-field communication reader for use with scanning an amiibo, faster processor, which of course help with browsing the internet and downloading software, and developers also have the ability to use that processor to help the scope of the future games, future software. And of course, games like Super Smash Bros. That are already out for the 3DS will load much more quickly. It'll also use micro SD cards instead of standard SD cards.
Yeah, about that, probably.
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
It'll be no problem, really. I know I just upgraded recently to a regular, large SD card, but I mean, there'll be no problem. Just get another one, just throw it in there. You planning on maybe jumping on?
I'm thinking about it. I'm still looking into it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still looking into it. You know, like there's a couple big Nintendo titles that I'm big on, but for me, I think I'm more like a Wii U guy if I were to pick up a Nintendo thing. I'm a Mario Party guy.
Yeah. You can't go wrong with
There is
Wii U.
a Mario Party on 3DS. And you can play multiplayer with only one copy of the game, so if you brought your 3DS and you're like, well, nobody else has it, well, no problem.
Mm-hmm. And that is really cool to be able to do it. I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
So the colors it'll come out in, new red and new black. How do you feel about those colors?
I think they look really good, at least in all the footage that they show.
The red one looked really sleek.
They look kind of spackled or something. I don't know. They don't look like just flat.
Really
they look kind of shiny and like flecked.
You don't think the red was too like light or kind of burgundy?
I kind of liked it actually.
I kind of enjoyed the red color. It's definitely not like a red. Like I have a red XL right now. And it's very red.
Kind of like toy red.
Kind of like toy red.
Childy red.
The new ones look really really premium.
Really professional looking.
They do.
So one thing that's no surprise to Japan, but in America, it's not going to come with the AC adapter to charge it. But it's compatible with all the adapters that worked on the Nintendo DSi systems and previous 3DS systems. So I think that's going to be a big issue.
So they're kind of assuming that you already have, most likely. Like, you already have a 3DS. We don't need to give you an extra cable. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I guess that works. I mean,
it'll help, of course, help with the cost of Nintendo. They don't have to manufacture a million more of something that people already have.
That's true.
So it comes out February 13th. That's like a month away.
Day before Valentine's Day.
How do you feel about them announcing a new piece of hardware like this close to launch? Like,
That's
boom,
pretty fast.
here it is.
It's pretty fast, but they definitely know, like, hey, you're going to get a paycheck between now and February 13th. Like, they know. They know what they're doing.
So one thing that people have been salty on the internet about is when this came out in Japan late last year, they got the XL that we're getting, as well as the regular, smaller sized new Nintendo 3DS. And the big feature about this is that it had the ability to customize the faceplates on both the bottom and the back, so when you had it flipped open, you could see like a full picture. And then even in today's Japanese Direct, they announced new faceplates, one being Majora's Mask faceplate. That features the new artwork, like the new drawn
That
artwork.
looks slick.
How do you feel that, personally? Does the size not matter to you?
Well, me personally, I'd be going with an XL anyway. But I know for a lot of people, say like you like kind of like collecting that kind of stuff, you know? You like having a nice collection. So, like, how do you feel about that, really?
It's something that would be easier in my wallet.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I'd want the XL to play, but I also want the smaller one just for collection purposes and get those faceplates.
Right.
But seeing how difficult Nintendo's having getting Amiibo on shelves, manufacturing and keeping them in supply. They're in very large demand compared to the supply. I feel like the same thing would happen to the faceplates most likely at this point, where they manufacture faceplates and then they would be sold out and nobody would find them.
That's true.
So they'd have this feature that probably wouldn't get utilized very well.
That makes sense.
Also, they announced 2 different limited editions, one being Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate Silver Monster Hunter logo.
It's the best one.
Comes bundled with the game.
Correct.
For it was like
$230?
$229, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a fair price?
I think it's pretty good.
It's about what it would be.
New
for the
piece
other
of hardware
ones.
plus the game pre-installed for
That's
$230. That's kind of. I think I paid about that price for just the system itself for the last system.
And I know how you feel about your Monster Hunter. I know you'll be picking that up as soon as you can.
You know, I'll be getting it. I like that. The silver.
Yeah, it looks
That one
super
looks-
slick.
That one looks slick. I like that.
It's going to be exclusive to GameStop. How soon you need your pre-order in? It might go quickly if you dilly-dally.
Might go quickly, yeah. Well, at least I'm lucky because that Majora's Mask is kind of taking some of the heat.
Speaking of which, the Majora's Mask edition went live today on both GameStop.com and BestBuy.com later in the evening the same day. With the Majora's Mask one on GameStop.com, went live maybe like half hour after the direct, sold out within 15 minutes of going live.
Oof.
And then it became unavailable in stores as well for pre-order like an hour or 2 later.
Do you have your pre-order in?
I do.
This guy.
Times 2, right?
I have one pre-order both at GameStop.com and BestBuy.com. Got all my bases covered.
Bases covered. Yeah.
Exactly. You gotta be careful with this kind of stuff. So, and speaking of Majora's Mask, coming out the same day as the new Nintendo 3DS XL in North America, it's gonna take advantage of the new C-Stick on the Nintendo 3DS. You have full 360-degree camera control. As you may or may not know on the original, to control the camera, you hit the Z-Stick, or the Z button on the S4 controller, and it shifted the camera behind your character. There's no rotating the camera. And anybody who also goes to GameStop and pre-orders the new Nintendo 3DS game, codenamed S.T.E.A.M, also receive a limited edition, while supplies last, Majora's Mask pin. This was an item that was included in the European limited edition of Majora's Mask.
Oh, already included with it?
Yep. Well, if you pre-ordered the limited edition.
Gotcha.
So we weren't sure if we were getting that. When they announced the limited edition last week, we were, of course, getting the Skull Kid figure. No pin. But Europe's not getting the figure.
Okay.
So I thought, well,
Pretty good
figure's kind of cooler than a pin. But now,
Yeah.
if you pick up the codename S.T.E.A.M, you can get both.
Right. Now, was it the Majora's Mask Special Edition? That one was $199, correct?
Yes, without the game.
Without the game.
no,
That's right.
no software.
So no software on that one, but you do get a very, maybe a cooler looking system on that one. I gotta say, that one looks pretty good.
And the first thing they announced in the Direct was a new Fire Emblem game for the Nintendo 3DS.
That one looks pretty interesting.
It does.
You said you owned Fire Emblem
I do own Awakening.
Awakening.
I never really played it a whole lot yet.
Is there a reason you never got into it?
The feet. I need feet. Nintendo, I need feet. I need feet.
But that didn't stop you from getting it. Did you not find out about feet until after you bought the game?
Didn't know until I bought the game. It was without feet.
Okay.
I heard feet are confirmed for the new one. Very excited.
The bullet points in the new game, it says you can make bigger choices than in previous games. Those choices will have bigger effects on the world than ever before in the series.
That's always a really nice addition to any game, is when your actions actually affect the world around you, instead of just rolling through and it's like, whatever,
It's
doesn't
the
matter.
same gameplay for everybody now. It's like,
Right.
I can have a different gameplay
It's cool.
than
It's
you
pretty
did.
cool. And then, whether or not that's a minor or major thing. Minor, I mean, it's cool to have. Major, it's cool, like, if stuff actually ends up completely different than another. Let's see the severity of that. Hopefully it actually, like, really makes a big difference. It's a big thing.
Especially if you have like friends that are playing the same game.
Exactly.
Like, oh, that's how you handled that? I did it this way, and this is how it turned out. You can kind of talk about it. That's always fun, too.
Makes a very interesting first playthrough and the second playthrough when you're talking about it.
Yeah, and yeah, if you play, you can play multiple times and have different
Exactly.
stories. Yeah.
Much more replay value that way.
Love that.
So the art direction is being handled by Kozaki Yusuke. He did the art for another franchise that I love that was exclusive to Wii. Now is also now available on the PS3. No More Heroes. You guys familiar with that at all?
Love my No More Heroes.
He also did art for Lord of Vermilion and the Speedgrapher manga. Next up, Puzzles and Dragons. Puzzle and Dragons. You guys know anything about that?
Puzzle and Dragons.
Only a little bit. I know it's not as big here as it is in Asia.
Yeah. It's huge in Japan.
Gotta love that matching gameplay.
Yeah, it's a match 3 puzzle game. Every time you match 3, those disappear and then a new row falls in its place, and you can keep creating combos if you can match up as the sacks fall. And every time you clear rows, deals damage to an enemy. So while you're doing this puzzle game, there's an enemy that's on screen that you're dealing damage to with a life bar and trying to deplete it to 0.
I think that's kind of cool.
Do you think that's a cool way to play puzzle games? Because normally you're just trying to like clear a screen or get so many points, but now you're actually like
Add an extra element.
Yeah.
It's like you're mixing 2 genres of games together. It actually looked very nice.
And you said it was available on mobile in Japan?
Yep,
pretty
you
interesting.
can actually get it on iPhone right now.
Oh, really?
In
Very
America.
cool.
Yeah.
In America. Oh.
Is that paid?
I think it's free to download, but I think there's pay to play elements in the game.
Okay.
So you can play so much for free, and then
It's interesting.
so it contains RPG and strategy elements. That's you can recruit heroes and enemies to fight on your side. So as you're fighting these enemies and you defeat them, you have the chance to recruit them and battle them on your side.
Kind of reminds me of a very specific Nintendo game. I can't think of it. It's on the tip of my tongue. About when you have 2 characters fighting each other at the same time, shooting for victory. It's on the tip of my tongue. Anyone?
Are you trying to say Pokemon?
Oh, that's what it is. I
Okay.
couldn't think of it. Okay.
Pokemon. I haven't
That's
heard
what
of
it
this
was.
before. This is new.
You have
So-
to look that up. It's all right.
So
Pokemon.
they're also going to bundle this regular version of Puzzle and Dragons Z is what it's called. They're also going to be bundling with Puzzle and Dragons Super Mario Edition. Same exact gameplay, just instead of monsters and anime type stuff, it's going to have Super Mario Brothers themed stuff in it.
Like
Right,
fighting
fighting
Bowser and stuff.
Yeah, fighting Goombas, Koopa Troopas.
Pretty cool. I'm actually kind of excited for that one.
There's also another puzzle game coming to the Nintendo 3DS eShop.
Got a little
It's
puzzle.
called Pokemon Shuffle. This is going to be a free-to-play game. Cost you nothing to download it. Cost you nothing to play it.
It's interesting.
Mastery puzzle game again, just like Puzzle and Dragons. In this game, you're battling Pokemon as you clear the board on the screen. When you start the game, you start with 5 hearts. Each heart gives you 1 game to play, and every time you play a game, it depletes a heart from your meter. You can recharge those hearts by using in-game items or spending real-world money. So if you run out of hearts, you can just put the game in sleep mode or put it away for a while, and then they'll automatically recharge over time. But if you are impatient, you just need to get some more gameplay in. You can spend some of that money, get some more games in.
Right.
Nothing new to people on mobile, playing on phones and stuff.
Right.
Tons of games done this. Nintendo's now just kind of
Those Nintendo
dipping their
bucks.
toes into it, see
Right.
how people react.
Yeah, I think it's that whole model as a whole. Sometimes I feel like it works out very well because some people don't go overboard with it when they make a game, and it's kind of like, wait some time. I mean, there's nothing wrong with like put your game down for a little while, go do something else. Other companies, I feel like, take it a little bit to the extreme, where they'll actually almost lock you out of the game for a day or more for some of that stuff. Sometimes it gets excessive. I always like it when they give you an in-game option of somehow you can get to the point where you can keep pushing it with in-game items. I really enjoy that.
Isn't there like some games where you can like watch this advertisement? And
Yeah, it's like, watch this ad. And it's like, okay,
Yeah, that's interesting. The fact that Nintendo's dipping their toes in something like that.
just to see.
Just because, like, there's like all kinds of smartphone apps, Facebook games, and stuff that operate just like that. It's kind of interesting that Nintendo's going to try that out. And it's probably going to be pretty profitable for them. I know that something like 95% of people don't really spend very much money, if at all, on those kind of things. And like the 5% of people that actually do spend money on that, that's where they make all their money, apparently. It's actually pretty profitable, from what I've heard.
Yeah, and the fact that it's free to play, free software is always a reason to visit the eShop, and while you're there, you might want to pick up something else.
Right, you might be just in there. Or even if you get one of those free-to-play games, maybe you dip a little bit of money into it, at some point. I could see how it would be very profitable.
I feel like Nintendo's always giving away free stuff like this. I think they do
Yeah.
great promotions. Next up, Wii games are coming to the Wii U eShop.
That's true.
So you'll
That's
be able
pretty
to
cool.
download Wii games onto your Wii U and play them natively in the Wii U operating system. You want to no longer have to go into the Wii mode.
Good old Wii mode.
Of the Wii U. So the first, there's going to be 3. They announced 3 titles today. First up is Super Mario Galaxy 2. All 3 games that they've announced are going to retail for $19.99 on the eShop, but the first 7 days that they're available for download, 50% off, $9.99.
It's pretty awesome.
It's huge.
So you can download Super Mario Galaxy 2 right now. It just came out today. Next week, you'll be able to download Punch-Out for Wii.
Good old Punch-Out.
And then 2 weeks from now, Metroid Prime Trilogy. So in this case, Metroid Prime Trilogy, you're getting 3 games for the price of 1. And in the first 7 days, $9.99 for 3 of
$10 for 3 games.
arguably one of the 3 greatest games of all time.
Pretty awesome.
Definitely pick it
And
up
I know
in
for
the first week.
And I know for each one of those 3 games, you can sink a goofy amount of hours into.
Mm.
So that's a really good value.
So, Super Mario Galaxy 2 available now. Punch Out, January 22nd. Metroid Prime Trilogy, January 29th. Another Wii U game. Always nice to see more Wii U games. Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. This is a sequel to the first Kirby game that appeared on the original Nintendo DS. It's all stylus based. Kirby is cursed and turned into a ball. He has no arms, he has no feet, and you control him through the levels by drawing these paths that are like rainbows, and he rolls along them.
Terrifying curse.
And you use these paths to propel him into enemies and defeat them, collect items, things like that.
What was it about the chests that you can collect in game that help you out?
Yeah. So if you go off the beaten path, you can collect treasure chests. You don't have infinite amount of the rainbow paths that you can draw. There's a meter on the screen that depletes as you draw the rainbows, and it fills up when you're not drawing. So the more feverishly you're drawing these rainbow paths, you run the risk of depleting that, and then you won't be able to save Kirby from falling off the screen or into an enemy and getting damaged. There's also going to be amiibo functionality. So right now, Kirby amiibo is already available. He will be compatible with the game. Scanning him into the game, you can scan one amiibo into the game once per day.
Okay.
The Kirby amiibo will power him up, make him a little more beastly, taking out enemies a little bit better. Wave 3 is right around the corner. Wave 3 of amiibo, King Dedede, is going to be included in that selection of amiibo.
Awesome.
That'll give him King Dedede's hat, give him some King Dedede ability, and then Meta Knight is also coming out, and he'll also empower Kirby. And that game comes out February 20th, so pretty soon.
Gives you a week to get your cash back.
Yeah.
After the new one comes out.
After the new 3DS.
New 3DS.
So they also announced a Wave 4 of amiibo.
Already, huh?
Wave 3 is coming out February 1st.
Okay.
Around that time. Wave 4 includes Robin, Lucina, Pac-Man, Wario, Ness, and Charizard.
Awesome. Got some good ones on that one.
Any favorites?
I liked Robin, even though I didn't play the game. Still a very interesting looking character, if you ask me.
I'm a big Wario fan.
No definitive date for that wave, but it says it'll come out in the spring, so it gives you a window. But before that wave comes out, they did announce another series of amiibo, unrelated to Smash Brothers. Super Mario Brothers amiibo. A new Mario, a new Luigi, a new Yoshi, a new Peach, and a new Bowser. Same chips that were in the Smash Brothers versions, but now the art they're based off of is like art from the Super Mario Brothers series of games, not Smash Brothers. Also coming out with Toad. Toad's first amiibo.
His first amiibo.
And his first game. I don't know if it's his first game, but his own game.
Yeah.
His own game.
His first game that had his name in the title. Yeah. Of course, old school Nintendo fans know Toad's first starring role, technically, I like to say, is in Wario's Woods, which was a puzzle game on the NES and Super NES.
There you go.
An underappreciated game, in my opinion. I think it's a very interesting puzzle game. Available on the Wii U. It was available on the Wii U eShop.
Really?
For download, yeah.
There you go.
Definitely on the 3DS eShop, I think. So that line of amiibo comes out March 20th. So a little over a month from now.
It's kind of cool that they're the same amiibo as the Smash Bros. Ones.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want them, I mean, they're available. I like that. I think
It's
pretty cool.
definitely. I wasn't gonna double dip on Amiibo that I already owned.
Yeah.
I was thinking like I want one to use
They're
and one in the
different.
package, but now he's like, well, no,
You kind of need the whole set.
yeah.
I really.
This path on its own is taking me down with this Amiibo.
Nice thing I like about it, what they're doing with the Amiibo, is I always drew the connection in my brain between obviously the Amiibo and then like the Skylanders that you see on the stores. The cool thing though I liked about the Amiibo was they're adding new games that support them. So you have one Amiibo, you can put
Sure.
that in multiple
Instead of
games.
just one game, more
Exactly.
characters. Instead of characters, more games.
Exactly.
Way more stuff to do.
I think it's pretty neat. I like what they're doing with that, kind of. Like if you spend the extra money to get the Amiibo, you do get some extra content. I feel like that's...
Not to mention, it's using your favorite characters that you've been playing games in ever since you're old enough to play games.
That's true. That's true.
How do you guys feel about Mario Party as a franchise?
Mario Party's the best.
Guy loves Mario Party right there.
Definitely my favorite Nintendo game.
What's your first Mario Parties that you guys have played?
I played the ones back on the N64. Played some on the GameCube. I haven't played them all, but of the ones I've played, they've always been awesome. I've always been a big fan.
N64, GameCube?
I think GameCube was when I started doing Mario Party. I never owned an N64 as a child, so
I was deprived as well,
yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't
But my
remember
friends
playing
had
one. There you go.
Hence my Nintendo experience.
There you go. But it was definitely on the good old GameCube, one of the best systems.
I will say the mini games on the N64 versions, I always thought that the mini games were the best on the N64 Mario Party.
No, they had all the
Personally.
ideas to pull from. They hadn't done anything yet, so
Sure.
there's no rehashing yet. A lot of the games you see on the later ones are just kind of like rehashes of games they've done in previous entries. So, but hey, Mario Party 10's coming out.
Oh, excited. Excited.
I'm pumped.
So you got the game's going to feature the traditional party mode, the one that's been around since the first entry. There's also going to be a Bowser party mode. So this allows up to 4 people to play on the board as usual. Going to be a 5th player controlling Bowser on the gamepad,
It's kind of cool.
messing with all the other players,
That's
trying to
pretty fun.
screw them up.
I like that theme that they kind of got going on with the gamepad nowadays.
Yeah, like the 1v4 thing.
1v4.
That's interesting. Something that no other system's done yet, because they haven't been able to.
Right.
So definitely a big move for them.
Right. Only other place I could really think that straight out would be Evolve coming out later, which is the whole 1v4 mentality.
Okay.
But Nintendo's been just going crazy on the whole thing. I think it's kind of neat that one player gets kind of all this power. The rest of them have to pool together.
It's kind of fun.
I think it's kind of cool.
Allow someone who's not maybe might be hesitant to play Mario Party, they're not a big gamer, but they're like, here's this gamepad, you can just do some stuff on here. And
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
You can just kind of screw around.
Yeah.
Plus,
You don't have to worry about winning, you don't have to worry about losing, you just kind of...
You just kind of play.
Yeah.
usually it's pretty troll. I have to admit.
So the third mode that they just announced today, we knew about the other 2 modes. It's Amiibo Party. So this mode can only be played if you own a compatible Amiibo, which is any of the Amiibos that are in the Super Mario Brothers series. So Mario, Luigi, Peach, Toad, Yoshi, Bowser, and also going to include Wario and Donkey Kong in the mix.
Donkey Kong.
So if you have the Donkey Kong from the first wave of Amiibo for Smash Bros., good to go. The Amiibo mode is played on a board themed after whichever Amiibo you scanned in. So if you scan in Luigi, it's going to be Luigi's board.
Kind of cool.
Features his vacuum cleaner, the Poltergeist from the Luigi Mansion series. Like I said, you can use the Smash Brothers Amiibo, so you don't need the Super Mario Brothers versions of the Amiibo. You can use the Smash Brothers Amiibos that you already have for Mario, Luigi, Peach.
I like that
And-
they're not like punishing you for not having amiibos if you don't. But if you do own amiibos, then it kind of opens up some extra stuff. Not something that's like game breaking, where if you don't have it, you're gonna be like, "Ah," but it's if you have
Right.
it, it's a cool extra thing to have.
Get halfway through the game, and it's like, purchase Amiibo.
It's kind of like buying DLC in the form of a toy. Yeah.
Right.
Pretty much.
Kind of cool. You get DLC and a kind of a collector item, which is kind of cool. Put it on your
So,
shelf.
Mario Party 10 comes out the same exact day as the Super Mario Bros. Wave of Amiibo, so March 20th. A little over a month from now. Mario Party 10 party?
Oh yeah,
It's gonna be
if
good.
you know I'm in.
Yeah. Sounds like Nintendo's gonna have a big first season this year.
Yeah,
First
First quarter.
quarter. First quarter is gonna be huge
So-
for them.
Speaking of the new Toad Amiibo,
Oh yeah.
that same Amiibo while working with Mario Party 10, will also work with Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, which is already available in the market.
Right.
So Nintendo's going to release an update to the game that will give the amiibo functionality. Scanning Toad into the game will enable a mode where there's going to be a little pixelized version of Toad hidden somewhere in the level, and you have to move Toad around and find that pixelized Toad in each level.
Kind of cool.
Little hide and seek action going on there.
It's pretty cool.
And that update will again be available on March 20th. So a lot of stuff coming down on March 20th. You got all the amiibos, Mario Party 10, and then you got something to do in a game you already own.
Oof.
Potentially.
Sweet.
How do you guys feel about 4v4 shooters?
Well, I'm a big fan of 4v4 shooters. I played a lot of, say, like Gears of War back in the day. Any kind of like a third-person shooter I've actually been quite a fan of.
Especially, yeah. I always thought the 4v4, like the third-person ones especially, had such a more tactical element to it that you don't really find as many of the first-person games.
It's true.
Well, Nintendo's going to be putting their foot into that market soon with a game called Splatoon.
Oh, yeah.
Art style, very colorful, very friendly, open to everybody. But the core mechanic is no different than any other kind of like third-person shooter. In fact, it's very innovative in certain aspects.
Yeah, it's some cool features in that game.
So you play as these characters called squidlings, and you have guns that shoot ink onto the ground, and then you can go into ink squid form and traverse those paths. And when you're in the ink as a squidling, you recover your ink, which is what you use to fire. It's like your ammunition, basically. And while you're also doing that, you can't be like shot at or anything because you're not in humanoid form.
It's actually probably going to open up some very tactical gameplay. It's going to be quite interesting.
Yeah. So we've known about this game for quite a while now. They showed it off at E3 last year. But they announced today that there's going to be a plaza in the game that connects all the different game modes. In this plaza, that's where you're going to purchase your weapons using the currency you earn from playing multiplayer. Bunch of different type of weapons, like your regular guns, and you got sniper rifles, bazookas, things like that. You can also customize your character's outfits, your clothes, headgear, and shoes. And different shoes, different headgear will affect your character's stats.
Okay.
So you're gonna have a main weapon. That's the weapon you're gonna be using most of the time to take out your enemies. But you also have two other weapons. You have a sub weapon that can be like stuff that you plant, kind of like a sentry type of thing. You can put up like a gate where if somebody crosses it, it's like it hurts them or damages them or even kills them. And then you're gonna have your like special weapon. This is like a one kill kind of weapon that you can charge up, and if you hit your enemy, then it's probably gonna be lethal.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. The fact that they let you have a couple different weapons too kind of allows for different play styles. Like if you want to have, like you said, like the sentry, if you're looking for more of like if you're trying to hold an area, or if you have other stuff if you want to block off an area. So it opens up a lot of different play styles for different people.
Exactly. And then, like I said, the clothes that can affect your strength, range, ink speed, weight, and attack.
It's kind of neat. That's actually going to be
A lot of customizability.
So the game, visually skews very young, but hopefully the people see the gameplay, and hopefully that'll be enough to take off and become a huge online community. What do you guys know about Hyrule Warriors?
I do own it.
The Nintendo version of Dynasty Warriors, and I loved them both.
It's fantastic. It's a pretty good game. You yourself are also playing it, I do believe.
Yep.
How are you liking it?
It's fantastic.
Right.
My experience with the Muso or Dynasty Warriors games was very limited. Probably because the content of the game probably never really got into it, but when you throw Zelda in there, it's like, well,
Yeah.
now I gotta play it.
Yeah,
Like,
you gotta play it now.
There's no excuse.
It's pretty cool.
So, there's been several DLC for the game, all kinds of cool free packs that they've been offered, as well as two other packs that they've announced or they had available last year. But they've announced a new Majora's Mask DLC. So we already had some Majora's Mask DLC previously last year, but this is going to offer two new characters. Tingle, who is well known. His debut was in Majora's Mask from Nintendo 64. He's also been featured in The Wind Waker on the GameCube. He's also had his own game in Europe, in Japan. Didn't come out here because people don't tend to care. He has no Tingle love in America.
Said he was like, one of his big moves is like fighting with his balloon, like exploding.
Yep.
A couple other different moves like that. It's pretty cool.
Also be able to play as young Link. So we've had adult Link since the get-go, but this will give us a chance to play as young Link. So Tingle, like I said, he attacks with balloons and a bag full of rupees. Those are his weapons.
Good old rupee whip.
I guess his special weapons are his Kula Limpa dance and a Kiss of Death. That takes out a wave of enemies when your special meter is filled up. Young Link uses his Kokiri sword from the Kokiri Forest. And he has the ability to use his Fierce Deity mask to transform into Fierce Deity Link, which is a mask featured in Majora's Mask.
It's actually going to be pretty cool for Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool.
So, next up, Wii U. Xenoblade Chronicles X. What did you guys think of that video?
The video there was shown. That looked very intense. The world looked very detailed and not sparsely. It looked really fleshed out.
Yeah,
The
like it
world
looked like
is huge.
yeah,
It looked huge.
like you just like walk for forever. Like,
One thing I was a little curious about is I noticed in the direct, they most of the footage they showed was just the characters going throughout the world and jumping off cliffs and stuff. I didn't see much for the actual what you're doing,
Right.
which leaves some curiosity for me. And I don't know a whole lot about the series themselves, so I guess I have some curiosity with that.
that's the one scene that keeps sticking in my mind is the scene where he jumps off the cliff
Yeah,
and he's like going to like a river.
Yeah.
Jumps
off
to
the cliff
lake below.
and shows him falling for 5 or 6 seconds, and it was almost mind-boggling, how big that map seemed. Like he was falling for 5 seconds, and you could tell he had no 20 seconds to fall. That's how big the map was. It looked pretty wicked.
Did you guys see the scene with the mechs? It's like flying at a
Yeah.
mech.
Yeah, I wonder what that's about.
Yeah.
There's
That's
been
kinda
a few different vehicles in that game, it looked like. So it's going to be a very vast world,
Yeah,
which is always
saw
intriguing.
a couple biomes in there as well, so it's not just one area.
Yeah,
It seemed like there is multiple different regions.
some like greens and purples.
This is being developed by Monolith Soft, the same people that made Xenoblade Chronicles on Wii.
Okay.
So, they got a good pedigree. Next up, Nintendo 3DS. Mario vs. Donkey Kong Tipping Stars. Another entry in the Mario vs. Donkey Kong series dates way back to the Game Boy Advance. This uses the same touch functionality you've seen in the series since the Nintendo DS games. This is there's been 3 games across Nintendo DS and Nintendo 3DS. So, the cool thing is that not only is this going to be available on 3DS, it's also going to be available on Wii U. You buy it on one, you get it on the other. This is Nintendo's first true cross-buy game.
And I really like that
So-
idea that they're doing that. It's cool. Why would you have to buy the same game twice? Especially if it's for the same company.
Right, if it's
So
going to be
I like that mindset.
it's going to be the same game. Like if they don't add very different things to each version, I really do like the idea of buying it once, playing it on both. That feels like
Very fair to the customer. Not
feels like
greedy.
excellent
It's
service
cool.
if you ask me. Just really.
That comes out March 5th.
Nintendo Lemmings. I'm interested.
Next up is a game that was teased by Bandai Namco Games. No official title for the game. It's going by the name Project Treasure right now. They had a video with Matsumoto Harada talking about it. It's exclusive to Wii U. You won't find it on any other platform. It's described as an action game where 4 players work cooperatively to complete varied stages. Objectives include clearing traps, rooting enemies, and seizing treasure. So, sounds like it's going to be a free-to-play game. They didn't announce the actual name of the game or a launch date yet. Again, they're just calling it Project Treasure for right now.
Must be in the earlier stages then.
Yeah.
They're not giving that much.
Or if it's going to be like a good old dungeon crawler RPG kind of thing going on there. What's going to happen with that?
Those are usually pretty good.
But any exclusives that Nintendo can get definitely helps.
Oh, that's
Especially the art, the little bit of art that they did show definitely skewed more realistic in terms of art style.
It's true.
So gives me a little bit more of a feel for maturity, whatever how you want to
it's
phrase
good
it.
to really range.
Do you guys have any experience with Sega Genesis?
I do
Yeah,
personally.
Me as well. My first game console.
Did you know that there are Sega Genesis games available on Nintendo 3DS eShop already?
You were saying a little bit about that earlier. That's really interesting. What games did you say were available?
I don't know the specific titles that are available right now. I don't have any of them, but they're 3D remake classics where they take the original versions and then they give them the little 3D pop effect.
Oh,
So you can
very
play them in 3D.
It's kind of neat.
You can also turn it off and play them in the old school
Yeah.
2D if you want. But they announced the new titles today. You got Afterburner 2, That's coming out first. That's probably one of the most well-known games from the Sega library. Fantasy Zone, Outrun. How many people know Outrun?
I played
Classic
Outrun.
arcade racing game.
I played some Outrun, time limits and stuff. Yeah,
Fantasy Zone 2 and Thunderblade.
cool. I got a lot of nostalgia for some Sega Genesis. Lots of fun.
Next up on the Nintendo 3DS, codename Steam. A game where you this features Abraham Lincoln in a steampunk sci-fi world. He is the commanding officer of a squad. Brings together characters from classic literature and American folklore. This is
Definitely a weird take. It's definitely new.
It's interesting. Oh, I'm kind of curious to see how that's accepted. It's either going to be like kind of cool and kind of like kind of funny and interesting, or I'm kind of afraid something like that'll flop just because like Abraham Lincoln. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping it does well. It's a definitely interesting concept.
it's from the same people that brought us Fire Emblem and Advance War series. It's a hybrid game that brings together turn-based strategy and real-time action. You're fending off alien invaders. Also, to continue on with the amiibo news, it's going to utilize the Fire Emblem character amiibos from Smash Brothers. So you can scan them into the Nintendo 3DS using the new Nintendo 3DS's AR functionality. You'll be able to use like Marth, Lucina, Robin, Ike, and you'll be able to use them in battle. These particular characters, the Fire Emblem characters, they fall in battle. You won't be able to have access to them again until you finish the current mission. They can't be revived at checkpoints. The good news is that one of the hardest amiibos, if not the hardest amiibo to find, is the Marth amiibo from the first wave.
Okay.
Goes for tons of money on like eBay auction sites and things like that. They did announce that they will be providing more of them on the marketplace around the time this game comes out.
That's nice, at least.
Feel bad for the people that spent like crazy amounts of money on it. Now they're bringing out more.
Yeah, at least that'll be helping prevent people from more people spending that much money.
Yeah.
So that game hits March 13th.
Lots of stuff in the next couple months, man.
Yeah.
February,
March.
Nintendo fans are going to be going wacko the next couple months.
So, last thing on my list here, we got so talk about Xenoblade Chronicles X for the Wii U. They're giving it a chance for people to play Xenoblade Chronicles on the 3DS. Xenoblade Chronicles 3D for the Nintendo 3DS. Actually, it's only going to be available on the new Nintendo 3DS. It's going to take advantage of that extra power that the new 3DS offers, the extra horsepower under the hood.
Sweet.
Maps and character data will be displayed on the bottom screen, so you always have data available to you. You don't have to go into a separate screen to find it. Porting is being done by the company Monster Games. These are the same people that brought us the port of Donkey Kong Country Returns. That was originally on Wii. They the ones that were supposed to bring it to the 3DS. Little factoid, did you know that Monster Games is based out of Minnesota?
Oh, awesome.
Didn't know
That's
that.
pretty cool. Didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
Xenoblade Chronicles 3D will be available in April.
April.
Cool. A little bit later than the other ones, but
This whole February, March, April thing going on here. It's going to be
So,
big.
that'll be the first. It's currently the only announced game that will only be playable on the new Nintendo 3DS.
That's the only one that's been announced.
Yeah,
I
right.
wonder if they're going to be doing a lot of that, or I wonder if they're going to be announcing a lot for the new 3DS, or is that just going to be just the games that are more graphically intense that require that actual horsepower?
Right. If you look at history, I don't predict there being very many. Probably just a handful.
I kind of hope that they don't do a lot of exclusives. It'd be kind of lame, just because for a lot of people, and there are a lot of people that have the normal 3DS and 2DS and such. So
Yeah, you always got to have that one game around launch to get people excited for the hardware,
Right, of
but at
course.
the same time, you don't want to alienate the
Exactly.
millions of
You
people
don't
that
wanna-
already.
That's true. Right.
Yeah, 'cause
You don't
then got a
wanna
lot
make
of,
everyone mad.
upset people.
Yeah. Nintendo's usually pretty good at not alienating their fan base. So
Yeah, totally.
at least they try not to.
It's
It's-
backwards
it's
compatibility through all their systems and everything. They're pretty good at keeping stuff rolling.
That's true.
It's a thin line. You gotta walk. Can't go too far on either side, or else you're gonna upset people. Gotta feed people a little bit of for the early adopters that buy this new hardware, but also
Right.
let them know that you still love the old people that already bought the old hardware.
Yep.
So, any other thoughts on the Direct as a whole?
Definitely seems like they're really bringing their A game this year. Definitely throwing a lot at us early on.
So many releases.
So many
So
releases.
many dates. So many more amiibos, so many everything.
Right. Definitely looking forward to see what else they're going to bring throughout the year. Definitely think they're coming out strong, though.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and there wasn't a peep of Zelda Wii U, which is what most, like pretty much all Nintendo fans want to hear about.
I
Zelda
am a
Wii U. What's
little
going on
sad
with that
about
game?
that.
So, but
I'm
you
really
know,
excited to see what Zelda Wii U is going to be like.
but you know they're gonna probably be bringing that big gun at E3.
Oh, most
Yeah,
likely.
it's gonna
You
be
got to compete.
probably a huge.
We're like, yeah.
Didn't they?
I bet you all eyes are gonna be on Nintendo at E3 for that game.
Wasn't that where Hyrule Warriors was released last year? Or I know they had a lot of big.
The first debut of it was in a Nintendo Direct sometime
Oh, was it?
early
Okay.
last year.
Yeah, and I know when Nintendo talks about new releases, they bring it all at once. They bring it hard. So I'm sure E3 will be no disappointment, such as just like this Direct was. They brought us so much new stuff.
It's true. It's really true.
So that's all Nintendo got for us this Direct. They did announce some other things in the Japanese Direct, like a new entry in the Rhythm Tengoku, or as we know it, Rhythm Heaven games. Love that series.
Here, there's a lot of love here.
Yeah. The one on Wii is by far one of my probably all-time favorite games. Fantastic game. Hopefully that game gets announced eventually for North America. Kind of surprised that they didn't make a decision to localize and just kind of throw it in the Direct this time. But hopefully it doesn't mean that we won't get it, because that would be super depressing.
Hopefully, get a little Western release over here.
It does suck that we're not getting... Or, like, there's been lots of people that have been vocal about wanting the regular new Nintendo 3DS, and that we're not getting in North America.
Yeah.
I feel bad for those people.
Right. Yeah.
But never say never. We might see it down the road. Nintendo probably just is constricted with manufacturing with Amiibo.
A lot of demand
true.
for
Gotta-
this stuff right now.
gotta test it, see if it's actually gonna.
And they're releasing it in Europe at the same time, so they gotta manufacture units for Europe
Yeah,
and continue to supply units for Japan.
that's true.
So maybe down the road when sales start to steady out for the demand for the new 3DS XL, maybe they'll introduce the
Just the regular one.
Yeah.
Start throwing faceplates at us.
So, yeah, so if anybody wants to reach out to us, you can do so on Twitter. I can be reached at Nestor64.
You can find me at Mr_Dude_person.
And this guy's still making one.
Twitter's coming eventually.
Yeah, I'll have it in the description below when he gets around to doing it. You'll find it down there. But be sure to check out my website, warpzone9.com. You can also find me on Facebook. Just search for Warpzone9. Click my page.
Send it some love.
Yeah, and hopefully there'll be some more featured videos on the YouTube channel, Warpzone9 on YouTube. So, until then.
Yeah, thanks for watching, guys.
See ya.